Hello. This will be a demonstration and discussion about this program I call Trilocater. Um, Trilocater is a little utility that automates a specific task. Um, what I've done, what I did recently is I worked on an assignment where I had to do some triangulation, as it were, having base station data from different cell towers, three minimum. And so in this case, I'll have base station data, and I had to calculate based on signal strength a certain radius of a target device, like a cell phone. And basically, using this data, I needed to locate that device, basically the geographical coordinates of that device. And so part of doing that was I had to go online and find a tool, like a manual mapping tool, and there are several of those. And so I found one of those, and I had to diagram some circles on there based on the coordinates and the signal strength that I calculated. Uh, Not signal strength, but the radius and distances I calculated, and then I had to basically visually map a location of a possible target device. So um, I found that kind of tedious, especially if you're going to do multiple records, locate multiple devices. So I thought it might be good to create a tool that kind of did that part for you, kind of using math and calculating it that way. So what I'll do is I'll go through a little bit of background on the tool I created. We'll do a demo and then maybe talk about some possible future directions. The main ideas of this tool are that it seems like this is a need. I thought it was a need in case somebody wants to try to do this location of a mobile device. It should be able to analyze multiple records and do it automatically, so you don't have to look up the like the major benefit of this would be not to have to look up a tool, an online manual tool, and it kind of automates a lot of the math for you. So if we look at the installation usage, it's not really hard to use. All it is just a simple Python script. Although if you read through some of the requirements, you will have to install and import this GeoPy module. And as we'll see, one of the features of this program will be that it will return not just the geographical coordinates, but possible address, an approximate land address of the actual device. Um, so I thought that was a nice feature to add. So basically, you will supply the program reads from a text file in a certain format. I've shown that here. That basically you have the calculated data. You have the coordinates of the cell towers, and then you have the calculated radius, which is a separate calculation that was pre-done. And then you provide that in a record in a file, and you could provide multiple records, and then the program will be able to calculate the location of the target device for however many records you want to go through. Okay. Um, so again, I mentioned the main purpose was to, from a text file provided by the user, calculate geographical coordinates and location of a target device. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up, let's see, I'm going to open up the program itself and just take a look at the script real quick. We'll talk about the structure and then we'll do a demo. So notice I'm basically only importing this. I installed this GeoPy module that has some, it has an API, or it accesses online APIs in order to translate these addresses. So basically you can see there's some math being done here. This is what I'm helping to, this is how I'm automating. Instead of looking for a manual tool, I'm doing the math inside the program, and so it comes up with an approximate address that way. So you can do it automatically in terms of an input file. And then other than that, it will ask the user if they want to go through all the records, the next records, or not, or just stop after they're satisfied. And it will return coordinates and the address. Okay, so we pull over. To run this, all you need is a simple command prompt. So I've got one there, and all I've done is you pick a folder, and I put the trilocater, the trilocate.py script, and I put the input file, and I mentioned I'll just take a look at quickly at their example input file here, bsdata.txt. This is what it's expecting, and so you notice each line is basically just a series of numbers, right? I've got longitude and latitude and the radius or distance. And so 3 cell towers worth in 1 record. And so it should read in each one of those. So you could obviously provide whatever custom data you want to. This is just for this demo. So all you have to do is run the program, Python. So then it's asked if you want to keep going. So obviously I want to see at least one. So I'm going to say yes, triangulate the record. It brings up the coordinates that was calculated, and then it'll bring up, this is somewhere Jamaica, around Lincoln, Nebraska. I have another record in there. Let's try that. So this next record is Las Vegas. So how do we know this is right? Well, in order to come up with these records, I just imagined 3 base stations and come up with some radiuses. And what I could show you is, this map tool I use is mapdevelopers.com. And what I did is I just drew some circles, and I just made sure they lined up at a certain point. They intersected here. So that way, when the centers of these circles will be the base stations, and then the radius would be the distance to the target. And so I transferred that information to the text file, and then when my program output came out as Las Vegas, I knew that it was working properly. So this would be the manual verification. You could see that doing this manually for, say, 100 records would be very slow. So that's the main purpose of this tool, was to automate that process. So I go back to here. Future directions on this project could be, there's many enhancements you could do. You could, I just have it as a static bsdata.txt input file, but obviously you could modify it so the user could put in their own, direct to their own file. You could extend more functionality. You could, and notice this also, this is calculated data already. I calculated the distance previously, or you could do it manually, but you would have this data calculated from signal strength and some other formulas. You could add that functionality in if you wanted to, and just have it do more raw calculations in order to extend functionality of this whole process as part of a larger project if you wanted to. Also, you could actually maybe generate, you could use Google Maps API or something like that and generate your own image of the, just to show the visual circles as well, if you want that to be part of the program. So with that, I will leave it, and thank you for watching.